Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders. Welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing the tween raunchy comedy Good Boys. For me personally, every trailer I've seen of this, I've thought it's been hilarious. Have I seen these trailers probably a little too much? Absolutely. But the first trailer I saw this, I thought this movie looked just downright funny. The three leads, I felt like each scene in the trailer itself, each had hysterical moments. But of course, obviously, when it comes to trailers, a lot of the funniest moments in the films are usually in those 2 to 3 minutes. And the movies don't necessarily tend to reflect the trailer overall. So let's go ahead and jump into the review and see if the Good Boy movie was as good as the Good Boy trailers. So the general plot of Good Boys is we have three friends, three sixth graders. We've got Max, played by Jacob Tremblay, Lucas, played by Keith L. Williams, and Thor, played by Brandy Noon. And they all get invited to a kissing party, but they don't know how to kiss. So basically what they do when they get out of school is they take Max's drone and try to spy on one of the female neighbors to see if they can study kissing. She captures the drone, and they take her purse, and there's a whole switchover. And then, of course, nonsense and craziness ensues before they try to get to this party, so that way Max can try to kiss the girl he has a crush on. So that's the general plot of Good Boys, without going too far into spoiler territory. Let's talk about what works with Good Boys. Thankfully, Good Boys does one of the few things that many comedies have not done lately, and that is have plenty of hilarious moments in the film that we did not get to see in the trailers. Yes, there is some good moments that are in the trailers that you have seen probably 10 to 15 times on TV before you got to see this movie, so the scenes probably weren't nearly as funny watching it on film because you have seen it so many times with the trailers. But luckily, there is plenty of hilarious moments in this film throughout. Earlier this year with Booksmart, I said that this was the female version of Superbad. Good Boys is basically the middle school version of Superbad. You have three friends, each unique in their own ways, trying to get to a party, trying to go to the party and be looked at as cool. One's trying to get with the girl they got a crush on, and then the other one's just kind of along for the ride, kind of literally just like Superbad. But because they are sixth graders, the comedy is upped to a point because they're doing a lot of things that they don't fully understand because they're sixth graders. They're not as knowledgeable as the three main characters in Superbad or even the girls in Booksmart. They say things that they don't fully understand. They look at things and are put in situations that they think they know, but they know nothing about. And a lot of that kind of jumps in with the overall comedy of this film is these three kids who are in way over their head, who do the best to kind of handle the situation, but are in no form or shape able to do that. And so they try their best to just make it through it. And it leads for some great comedy overall. The three male leads, Tremblay, Keith Williams, and Brandy Noon, all do great jobs overall. Jacob Tremblay, he's a phenomenal child actor, and this kid's going to be acting the rest of his life. I mean, get used to that name, because Jacob Tremblay is going to be, he's already gotten nominated for an Oscar once for his role, I think in Room. And the kid's just going to keep on doing it. This is going to be a kid that we're going to see grow up through film, and he's going to constantly be nominated for awards. So this kid's always going to be around. But the two standouts were obviously Keith L. Williams as Lucas and Brandy Noon as Thor. These two's comedic timings in this film are hilarious, especially Keith L. Williams as Lucas. Some of the best lines in the movie is while something crazy is happening, you have the joke, you have the reactions of everybody, and then he hits this one-liner. Same thing with Brandy Noon. They kind of take turns, but Keith L. Williams definitely is the one that hits them the hardest, and his lines are brilliant throughout. He's the goody-goody of the group. He's the one who cannot tell a lie, who basically constantly puts the team in a bad situation because he is incapable of lying and always has to tell the truth, where Brandy Noon's Thor character is the character who tries to act like a badass but really isn't, but is also kind of putting the bad thoughts in his head. So if if Lucas is the angel on Max's shoulder, Thor is the devil, and there are many times in the film where there is Max in the middle, and both of them are on each side, and you're having the devil and the angel conversation, and it adds to the hilarity of it, and it's a great building block of this friendship. Even it's a very good coming of age story, even though it's sixth graders, but it works to the fullest extent. It's hilarious throughout. Are there some gags that you see coming from a mile away because we've seen them in other films? Absolutely. But because it is younger kids doing this and not teenagers or college kids, it does add a little bit more element of surprise, thinking, oh, they're not really going to go there, and then they do. Plus, they find different ways to do it in a way because they're younger that makes it even funnier. Also, some standouts. We have the two girls that steal the drone. We have Molly Gordon, who plays Hannah, and Midori Francis, who plays Lily. I thought they were just going to have small little roles based off of the trailer, but they actually have way bigger parts in the film than expected, and I enjoyed them throughout. They have a continual story plot throughout this movie with the three boys, and I loved their interactions with those three. Those five group characters all have great moments throughout the film. Obviously, the three boys are the top attraction, but those two are some nice supporting casts for them. And I loved watching them when they were all on screen together. Their back and forth banter of dialogue was great throughout. The comedic gags work. The raunchy humor works. The gross out gags work for most of the time. Now, I mean, obviously with a comedy, some jokes don't land as hard as they should. But if you're batting 80% on a comedy, it's considered a solid hit. And this one definitely does hit above the 80% when it comes to its jokes. Good supporting cast of parents. We got Will Forte as Max's dad, and we got Little Rel Howery and Retta from The Office as Lucas's mom and dad, and their scenes are hilarious as well. Even though they're small scenes, they do really well in the scenes that they get to perform. Also, we got where is he? I'm not seeing him on the cast list. He's in the trailer. He's got one scene in the movie. I kind of wish we would have gotten more. Trying to find him here. Sam Richardson as Officer Sachs. I loved his scene in the film. I almost wish we would have gotten more of him in the movie, but he did his purpose of his character, so he wasn't necessarily needed for more in the film, but I enjoyed his scene with the boys overall. What does not work with Good Boys? I mean, there's not really a whole lot that doesn't work. It's just that, and once again, this movie does clock in at 90 minutes, and it gets out before it starts to get stale. During the last 10 minutes or so, I mean, I was starting to go, okay, we got to start wrapping this up. If we go longer, you're going to starting to lose me for a little bit. And they get out at the right time. They don't try to push this movie for longer time. This movie doesn't need longer time. This movie gets in and out within 90 minutes. It's a quick comedy, and you have fun from beginning to end. The last 10 minutes, probably the least funniest of the film, but it's doing building blocks for the characters. So it works in that sense. It's just that at that point, you're like, okay, I'm not laughing anymore. We need to wrap this up. Like I said, some of the jokes don't all land the way they should. There's one particular scene, even though he was in it and I was happy to see him, I wasn't necessarily crazy about, where is he? I'm blanking on his name right now. Stephen Merchant. Stephen Merchant's in the movie. I was so happy to see him, but his scene was just kind of flat for me. I mean, it hit some beats here and there. But honestly, the best part of that scene was at the very end, and that's because Jacob Tremblay had a great one-liner when the scene ended itself. But yeah, it's just some of the comedy doesn't land, and it can get a little whiny at times because they are sixth graders. But for the most part, the film hits on most of its moments, and it's an enjoyable comedy throughout. So going into my overall thoughts of the film, I quite enjoyed The Good Boys. I think it is the funniest film of the year so far, and I would strongly recommend it for anyone who wants to just laugh their ass off. If you're a fan of Booksmart or a fan of Superbad, you guys should love The Good Boys. If you're a fan of Jacob Tremblay, this is something that you have not seen him do before, because he usually always does dramatic roles. And so here's him going full on with the cuss words and the raunchy comedy. So if you guys like Jacob Tremblay, you should love him in this movie. And then, of course, introducing two fantastic new young actors in Keith L. Williams and Brandy Noon. So yeah, I definitely recommend Good Boys. Like I said, it's the funniest movie of the year, bar none. So going into the top 10 of 2019 so far, Good Boys does crack the top 10. Comes in right at the number 10 spot. So going into the top 10, Toy Story 4 still at the number 1 spot with Avengers Endgame at number 2, The Peanut Butter Falcon at number 3 with Rocket Man at number 4, Spider-Man Far From Home at 5 with Booksmart at 6, Us at 7, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum at number 8, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at number 9, with Good Boys debuting at the number 10 spot, with Midsommar dropping out of the top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this review overall. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so that way you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on the show. And also don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. I don't think there's any movies coming out next week that I'm really on the lookout to see. So I'm not probably going to review anything next week because I got other things to do. So the next review, pulling them up here real quick. Actually, no, Ready or Not. Ready or Not comes out next week. I would actually really like to see Ready or Not if it's available in my area, because I think that looks really. I like the unique approach. It's a horror hide and seek game. If I don't get that one in my area, the next review looks to be It Chapter 2. Which I'm super excited for. So, might not see some reviews or videos pop up here in the next couple weeks just because there's not really much coming out unless I go back and catch some things I missed. But if you guys hit that subscribe button, you guys will stay up to date with any of the videos that do pop up. And in case I don't see you, till next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.